So I thought I'd make a video. I purchased a book to read. Hopefully it helps me kind of ease through this GED exam and kind of help me in my academics. I know reading is basically what the GED test is, at least that's what I remember a friend of mine telling me. So I decided to get a book, and I got the Kendra Wilkinson book, and Being Kendra, Cribs and Cocktails and Getting My Sexy Back. And it's a New York Times bestseller with Gerard Chaparro. So anyway, I got this book to read, and I got this book like 3 days ago, and I'm not doing too bad on it. I'm actually already halfway through the book, and got some other books that I'm going to read. And one of the reasons I chose this book to read, because it's a fast, easy, simple kind of read-through book, and to know more about, I know that it was all over the internet on how her husband, or one's husband, this book's pretty old, it was made I think in 2015 or 2011, and I got this book because I was also thinking, I know that she had all the stuff that was going on with her husband having an affair with a transgender, and I don't know if the person had a sex change or not. I don't know what the story. I just know it was all over the internet and TV, and I just wanted to know because I had gone personally through a tragedy myself, which I didn't know that the individual was a transgender, and I've made hundreds of videos about it, everyone knows about, but how she overcame those issues and her family. And she had kids. She has two kids and was married and was in a public eye, and had to been very difficult for a woman to go through something like that. And her talks about her struggles, and just talks about her Playboy mansion, and it's a lot to go through when you're 18 years old and you're have all the fame and all this wealth and all this attention, and everyone just all the spotlights are on her and in her life. So I thought this would be a good read. It's off the topic of social studies, science, math, and all that stuff, but it is the entertainment world, and I think that the fact that she overcame something that was so tragic and difficult, because I've seen a lot of her interviews, and they seem extremely stressed, and I haven't seen really too much of the TV shows. I've come across maybe one TV show or two. I've seen maybe one of the episodes, a couple of the episodes of Playboy Mansion, but it was so long ago. But this is around 2011, around the tragedy that happened to me. I'm 40 years old now, and she's about my age as well, so I think this would be kind of a little bit of an inspiration to how she overcame these challenges. So I thought I'd get this book, and I have other few books. There was no really narrow reason why I ended up picking this book, but she's a hot girl. She's married to a black guy that wasn't approved by a lot of people, a lot of racism. I've seen a number of her interviews about her mom and her dad, and but I primarily got this book simply because she was married to someone that all of a sudden decided to have an affair. I don't know if it was true. I'm not saying it was. I don't know, obviously, like everyone else, all the drastic details, but just to hear this individual story of the tragic event and how she overcame those issues and she had children would be a great influence for me. And I get to practice reading. I get to kind of go through this. It's a simple sort of read-through book. Talks about her life, talks about her TV shows, her eating habits, and what she thinks of her kids, and how she treated herself, and a little bit about her history, where she had a lot of depression. And so I think that this would be good, and decided to share this. I'm almost done with this book. Not almost done, I'm halfway through the book. Still got another 150 pages to go. So far it's interesting, and learning about how this person functions, because I think this is really good for my life as well, because for me, I had no choice, and is what the circumstances that happened, everything that had happened to me while I was at Richland College. And, it has to be such a traumatic because it affected me. The fact that this happened a few times, it was so bad, that was so horrific that I couldn't believe that something like this could happen to a cancer patient, a bone marrow transplant survivor, let alone at a college campus where somebody was using lasers and frequency pulse machines and triggering it to happen. But her husband, I don't know, the story goes, I think that this book was written probably when she found out or a little bit before or after, to my understanding. So I thought, that was a horrific thing to go through, and felt bad, that something like that happened to her, her family. But I'm not making too many judgments. I know that in the straight world, we're outnumbered and very controlled by what goes on in the world of entertainment and who runs all that entertainment world and the majority of it. And she sounds very trapped. She sounds the idea that I've seen her other interviews and I've seen all the interviews that she had about with her husband and stuff. So I've seen 7 or 8 different interviews, and a lot of this discussion about her husband having interfered with a transgender. And I don't know if that person had a sex change or not. I know that I've seen pictures of this person and it looks a lot like Patricia. But I thought this would be good. Yeah, good for me to read, because how can something like this happen to us? How can something like this, where we're fooled or we are get in a position where such a disgusting act happens to such a straight person, as myself and her, and however how many other people that this has happened to. But this relates to me so much because her life was placed in the public eye just like mine was, but there isn't anything fancy in my life. And the tracking devices, GPS locations, all the celebrities mouthing off about my horrific life, and the racism that I also had to go against, people being prejudiced against me. But the idea of it that everyone knows and it's all over the internet and talks of it, and just shaming her, the fact that it really wasn't her fault, it was her spouse's that decided to not have sex, not be a fully straight man, I guess be bisexual, but I don't know the story, maybe the person didn't, I don't jump to conclusions. But the fact that something like that gets placed in the public eye, the pain, I can relate very well. The pain, the embarrassment, the shaming, but at the magnitude that she has kids, and at the magnitude of all the people that loved her and gave her respect, and it's sort of a weird story how something like that could happen to her. And I don't know how many other people this has happened to, but hers happened in the public eye. So reading this to understand a little bit how her further interviews and other books she might write, that how she overcame these challenges. I like to probably look down the road and think to myself, I wasn't alone in this world, and it would be a very interesting conversation to have with her in person, because it happened to me where it was not ever in the playing cards. It was not something I was looking for. It was the ultimate shame in my life. Well, I thought I'd read this and just give it a read, what she had to say, and about her Playboy Mansion experiences, and how she thinks about her kids and her husband, and gives me a little bit more understanding about her life and herself. Like I said, I'm not targeting anybody. I'm not trying to exploit anything any further. But I thought I'd just let everybody know I'm reading this book. I'm almost done, halfway, and getting there. This is the first book that I've read in like 4 or 5 years. The other book I read was about the Holocaust and Auschwitz, where the architects that built it Holland Kemmler, and a few of the other generals and Nazis that did the concentration camps and killed so many people and tortured them. But I was a war book. But this is the first book that I think this is the first celebrity book I've ever read. This is the first book I've ever read about this particular type of celebrity world. Not just a celebrity, but about this type of character of a celebrity. You know, this is sort of this party life and what people think of this person is. But anyway, I'll give my review, what this book is when I'm done, and with this book and what I thought, and I hope the best for this person as well. But I can relate to the humility, to the embarrassment, to the disgrace and disgusting actions, and how somebody who you think you knew who they were has imposed a nasty sexual act upon something that's so sacred and is irreversible and totally humiliating, embarrassing, and degrading. But it gets me a little understanding about her life. So, got a few of the books I'm going to read, and hopefully I'll give y'all a review on this, and it's also helped me in my GED. Reading and writing, understanding how I'm not too far of thinking that I could probably pass it. I went through this book in 3 days, and I've read already about 100 pages in about 3 days, 4 days. And I just kind of been skimming through it little by little, read a couple chapters here, read a couple other chapters the next day, take a break, you know, play a little bit of video games, read some more, and just kind of get into the rhythm of reading more. But it really it really just dawned on me I needed to, you know, I wish you made an autobiography book, but you know, like I said, it's a pretty good read, pretty simple read for me to go through and get my ideas of understanding this person a little bit more and what they're going through, because I need some inspiration for myself as well.